Classroom management, part 4. I called this one the prize timer and requesting backup. So we're going to talk about a couple different things today. This is really going to help you. I love it. It's helped us so much. But first, let me just review the last things I've shared. I shared the first week. A core value that we have here is this. We're not trying to get control of a room full of children, but we are trying to make a connection with each of them. Classroom management goes so much easier if you are connected with the kids that are in the room. That's on video number 1. Then we talked about boundaries without freedom is religion, or you could say Pharisee if religion doesn't make sense to you. Boundaries with no freedom is like what a Pharisee would do. But freedom with no boundaries is chaos. We've probably all had chaotic days in church. Classroom management I think about is a water slide with sides. No one wants to go down a water slide that has no sides but only a bottom, because you'll fall off and be really hurt. So having sides, boundaries on a water slide is really good because it makes sure everyone has fun and no one gets hurt. That's what a lot of boundaries in classroom management are for. I talked about rewards and consequences help create internal controls and teach children to think for themselves. We don't want to tell kids just how to think, what to think. We want them to learn how to think for themselves. So I also talked about the agreements. Oh, no, sorry. Yes, I talked about the agreements. I talked about quiet seats and agreements. I'm just going to quickly run over those again real fast. We talked about quiet seats with the balloons and popping balloons when kids are talking and having positive reinforcement as well going on at the same time. But then we don't use that here anymore simply because we are working to avoid calling out children from the stage, from the microphone, just for the sake of embarrassment and shame. We don't want kids to feel shamed from church or embarrassed or condemned. So we work really hard to avoid calling them out, correcting them from the microphone. Once in a while it has to happen, but we try to avoid that as much as we can. So we do what we call agreements. Those are in the last 2 videos, agreements and accountability, and then quiet seats as well. So, but in both of those, the core value that I shared was we don't want our team simply looking for things that are going wrong, simply looking for things that kids are doing that is bad. We want to catch kids doing right. We want our team looking for kids doing what's right, listening, engaging, focusing, paying attention, interacting with God, interacting with the teachers, actually engaged in what's going on in the room. We want to watch for that. We want to reward that. I talked about that in another video, rewards, consequences, things like that. We want to reward kids. We want to have our eyes looking to catch kids doing right so we can reward them. But when your eyes are open for kids that are doing right, it's easy to notice when things aren't right. So what I'm going to talk about today is how we really look for kids that are doing right and what we do about it and how it helps us in the classroom. This is one of my favorite things. We just implemented it up here. It is a classroom version of Danny Silk's No Fun Chair. So if you know about Danny Silk and the No Fun Chair, it's genius, and we figured out not just the No Fun Chair, the Hassle Timer and the No Fun Chair, but this is us getting the Hassle Timer and into kids' church with a lot of kids. The Hassle Timer is for 1 kid, 2 kids. This is awesome. We're happy about it. So here we go. So here's what we do. Whether or not we're doing quiet seats with the balloons, or we are doing the agreements with the kids, either one, we have the ability to give positive reinforcement rewards for their choices, and we use tickets. So here I have the tickets that we use. I just opened this. We buy rolls of this at a time. We have 3 rolls out there right now. This is brand new. I just opened it, and it's tickets. And so what happens is at the beginning of the day, our team will rip off tickets. We'll rip off a few, whatever. We'll just keep them in our pocket. But here's how we do it. So we'll have a few tickets. We'll just keep them around. When we see a kid doing something we want to encourage, we want to reward, we'll take 1 ticket and we'll give it to the kid. And we'll say, hey, I saw you worshiping so good. This is for engaging with God, engaging with the worship time. Thank you so much. Here you go. Hang on to this. Then we take the other side, because these have two sides, as you probably know. They're the exact same number. And we put them here into this little ticket hat that we have. We use this hat just for fun. So someone can wear it if they want. They can put it on their head and wear it up to the stage. And then it's all full of tickets, and the kids really like it. So one ticket to the kids, one ticket to the hat. But then what we do is we have a ticket timer that is always there. We draw these tickets twice during the day. I'm going to go through what we do in the day so you know how all this works. Twice in every service we draw tickets. Once in the middle of the service and once at the end of the service. Here's why. So when kids first come in the room, we have small groups, and they all go to small groups, and they're doing things there, giving prophetic words, writing letters to God, playing little games that go along with the lessons. They're in the small groups for a while, then they come to the front, we do prayer, we do declarations, and then we go into worship. After worship, we take a bathroom break. We have ministry time, of course. We take a bathroom break. After the bathroom break, we tell jokes and testimonies just for fun, and then we draw our first tickets. After that, we go right into our lesson, and we teach our lesson, and at the end of the lesson, we do tickets again. Here's why this is so beautiful. Each time we draw tickets, we have 2 minutes. So at the beginning of the day, when kids are coming in, there is 2 minutes on the timer that we will draw tickets for. Now, they know if we have 2 minutes, we can get through quite a lot of prizes. So kids are doing things, kids are getting tickets. The more tickets they have, the more chances they have to win. This helps us keep it as fair as we can possibly make it, just so it feels fair to the kids, and it is as fair as we can get it. But the more tickets they have, the more chances they have to actually win. So they're wanting to do things right. They're wanting to engage. They're getting tickets. Some kids will have 5, 6 tickets. Some kids will have 1. But when we get to that first place, before we get to that first place, there are 2 minutes on the clock. So let's say we're in small groups, and then we come up to worship, and instead of doing declarations, a bunch of the kids are messing around. Last week's video, I taught you what we do here when it's 1 or 2 kids messing around, talking, causing distractions. We taught you that, so that's in the last video. But in this time, it's like, this is more for like when there's a large group. So say it's worship time, we're about to pray, and kids are messing around and say, hey guys, you know what? We have a certain amount of time for small groups. We have a certain amount of time for worship, prayer and worship. We have a certain amount of time for the bathroom. We have a certain amount of time for the lesson. I'm not going to let you use up any of our worship time, and I'm not going to let you use up any of our lesson time, but I will let you use up prize time, ticket time. So go ahead and keep talking, and I'll just wait, but we're going to put the timer up on the screen and let it run. So we turn it on, we put it on the screen, and the timer starts counting down from 2 minutes. I'll let them talk as long as they want to say, oh, guys, you're down to 1.5 minutes. Go ahead and keep talking, but it'll mean we have less time when ticket time comes. When prize time comes, we have less time for prizes. And so I've only seen it. They haven't ever used up 1 minute yet. It's beautiful. It works like a charm. So they're all talking. They're all messing around like, hey, guys, you're welcome to keep talking. It'll just cost ticket time because we're not using up worship time. And then I wait. It's so beautiful because whoever's on stage doing that part has a tool to keep themselves really, really calm. They don't have to get frustrated. They don't get upset. They're like, hey, no problem. You're welcome to talk. If we use up 2 minutes, we'll just turn on the other one and we won't draw prizes at the middle of the day. So let's say, for example, the kids use up 30 seconds. Awesome. We get through, then we go into worship. Worship goes well. We take the bathroom break. We tell some jokes. We have some testimonies. Then we bring out the hat and we're ready to draw prizes. We put the timer up again and say, guys, you only have 1.5 minutes. You used up 30 seconds. We have 1.5 minutes. So let's see how many prizes we can give away in 1.5 minutes. Ready, go. And they turn it on and we draw prizes. Now, they realize, what we'll say at the end too is like, you know what, guys, we got 5 prizes in 1.5 minutes. That means we could have got at least 1 more, maybe 2, if we had those extra minutes. But guess what? we're going to draw tickets again at the end of the lesson. Now, if during the lesson no one's talking, we won't have to interrupt it and turn on the timer. But if you talk, we'll turn on the timer again. And then it says freezing screen. It's good? Okay. And then we just like, so kids are talking during the lesson, we'll say, oh no guys, you're using up lesson time, but I'm not going to let you, so I'm going to put the timer back up, and then you'll have to lose some prize time. So what happens in the middle is they realize, oh man, we could have had more tickets. So now I don't want to do anything during the lesson that will take up ticket time. So I'm actually going to make sure and be really quiet because I don't want to, I want as much time as we can for prizes. I want as much chances to win as I can. So I need time and I need tickets. So if they catch me doing good and we have 2 minutes, I get more of a chance to win a prize. It is beautiful. And then what happens too is if you're doing that first prize time and kids are like, I don't have any tickets, we say, it's not too late. We're going to do another one. You could win one. Here's how you get one now. You sit up, you listen, you really focus and pay attention to whoever's teaching, whoever's up here. And if you do that and we catch you, we'll give you a ticket. And then at the end, we'll draw some more. And we have 2 minutes again to draw some more. As long as there's 2 minutes up there, we'll just use up whatever time we have, give away as many prizes as we can. And here we go. We're going to start the lesson now. Man, this is beautiful. It is awesome. I can't tell you how much it has made me as a children's leader feel like a genius. This thing makes me feel like a genius. The kids feel like geniuses. The kids are getting it. It's beautiful. So here's what I'm going to do now. 6:21. We're making good time. Let me just check my notes real quick. If they're talking, yep, got that. So I accidentally said that today was going to be requesting backup and not the prize timer. So I think I'm just going to do both of them together at once. Requesting backup goes along with what I talked about last week. If we've had continual trouble with certain kids, then we sometimes get to the place where we need to request backup. We need to call their parents and have them come. Now, here's the mindset you kind of have to have if you're going to call parents. The mindset is, we're not babysitting. There's a lot of churches around the world that feel like they feel like when parents drop off the kids, those parents cannot be interrupted. Those parents cannot be spoken to. Those parents cannot be called. It is our job to watch these kids no matter what is happening. It is our job to babysit kids for 2 hours while their parents are in church. That is not what we're doing. We are not babysitting. If you have the mindset we're babysitting, you will really not want to call parents to request their backup, their help. So you got to have that mindset like, hey, we're not doing babysitting. We're doing children's ministry. And these kids are giving me trouble after trouble after trouble. And I've told them if they get to this place, we're probably going to call their parents. So I need to call their parents. And when their parents get there, all we're doing is we're calling on the people who know these kids better than anyone else. We're asking for help. We're not trying to get the kids in trouble. That very well could happen. We're not trying to get the kids grounded. The kids will face consequences that are out of our control. What we're wanting to do is say, hey, we've had to talk to them over and over. Here's what we've done. We're asking you for any help that you have. What helps this guy or what helps this girl really be able to focus and pay attention? Is there any advice you can give us? And there's several things happening here, but one of the things that's happening is the child knows you do what you say. The child knows you follow through on what you've said you're going to do, so you're building trust with that child. That child also knows you just brought in a stronger sense of accountability. Like, now I'm not just accountable for what happens here, I'm accountable in my life. My parents are now involved. It does bring a little bit of like, hey, my parents are here. Oh no, I know. I don't know what to do. I'm struggling. We've even gone so far sometimes as to tell the parents, like, you know what? I'm going to have them take a break This has happened a few weeks in a row. I think they need a break. If it keeps happening, I think they need a break, maybe for 1 week, 2 weeks. After that, I'm going to need a plan for how they're going to make me feel like a genius for them being in the room. And we have the family come up with a plan together where the kid comes in and says, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what's going to happen during worship. I'm going to worship Jesus, or at least I'm not going to distract other kids. Hey, that works. You don't have to engage in worship. You don't have to. I'm not going to force you. But you can't distract other kids. You can't jump. You can't run around, kick people, jump over people. You just can't distract other kids. So as long as you're going to come in and be quiet, if your plan is to be quiet, I'll let you back in the room because I'll feel like a genius for you being here. I don't feel like a genius if I feel like I have to protect other kids from your running, or I feel like I'm scared because it doesn't feel safe in the room because you're jumping over kids while they're trying to be with God. Like, that's not a good plan. So I've done that sometimes too, where with the parents I've said, before they come back, I need a plan for how I'm going to feel like a genius for having them in the room. And then if they can't follow their plan, it's easy for me. I'll say, hey buddy, are you doing what you plan to do? No. All right. And I go right back into what I talked about the last video, following through with the steps and the accountability and things like that. But requesting backup is awesome because the parents are then on your team, and then the parents will keep checking, like, how are they doing this week? They did great. They stuck with their plan. They're awesome. Or, hey, we had to work through some of this. Parents, when we've done this with parents, it has done nothing but help us. We had some parents that were like, man, those friends don't actually ever get to see each other, and when they see each other, they just want to hang out. So we came up with the whole plan together. So, well, what if we gave you 5 minutes to hang out and talk and just be together, and you don't have to do the small group. You get 5 minutes to hang out and talk and then join the small group. And they were like, yeah. So when they come in, we're like, here, guys, go for it. You guys hang out and talk, and in 5 minutes we'll come back and we'll get you and you can join your team. And then they've done what they need to do so that they can do what we need them to do. So we let them do what they want to do so they can do what we're doing. It's beautiful, but it all came from requesting backup from parents who said, well, sometimes they just need that time with their friends. Because these friends were always getting in trouble. We're like, hey, we need help with these friends. They're all getting in trouble. Who knows them best? Parents requesting backup. So, man, that's good stuff. That's all I really want to talk about today. Prize timer, requesting backup. This stuff is genius. This stuff helps us with all our kids.